Hello and welcome to Sulbar News. I'm Muhammad Rifai Sahida. With you for 30 minutes, we're giving you the latest update news from West Sulawesi. And you can also watch our broadcast live on YouTube channel TVRI Sulawesi Barat. The first news is the Mamuju Police Criminal Investigation Unit determined the suspect was school principal who allegedly committed sexual abuse against his student. The suspect was charged under child protection law with a sentence to 5 to 15 years in prison.
After a 24-hour investigation, the investigator of the Mamuju Police Investigation and Criminal Unit, the Mamuju Police Investigation Criminal Unit identified the suspect, a religious school principal named JM. The investigator had two pieces of evidence, therefore the suspect was immediately arrested at the Mamuju Police Station. He could face a potential sentence of 5 to 15 years in prison. The chief of the Mamuju Police Criminal Investigation Unit, Kompol Jamaluddin, stated that, based on the results of the investigation, the suspect admitted to sexually assaulting 5 students. This incident had been going on for quite a while and came to light after one of the victim's parents reported the suspect. Kompol Jamaluddin revealed the complaint was filed by HAs and the victim, identified as AF, is still underage. The suspect would be convicted under child protection laws and could face up to 15 years in prison. The suspect, who already has children, was held accountable for his action and directly arrested in one of the detention rooms at the Mamuju police station. The police also examined 5 students who were allegedly harassed by the suspect, although it's not ruled out that the number of victims might increase as the suspect's actions have been ongoing for several years. Jamaluddin report.
The West Sulawesi Provincial Election Supervisory Agency conducted a participatory election monitoring event, inviting all media crews to actively engage the monitoring to the process. The West Sulawesi General Election Supervisory Agency held a participatory election supervision socialization event involving all media crews. The event took place at one of the hotels in Mamuju. The participatory of media is crucial in monitoring during the quiet period of the 2024 election. Muhammad Darwis, the head of supervision and public relations of the Election Supervisory Agency in West Sulawesi, emphasized the importance of the participatory monitoring, requesting active involvement and willingness to take part in the election stage, especially during the quiet period from February 10 to 13, 2024. He added that media involvement in supervision serves as a vital means to deliver information to the public and vice versa, playing a crucial role in providing education during the stage of election. Andriani Lahamuddin, Jawaluddin Daimpaindo reported. The destruction of thousands of damaged ballot paper was carried out by the General Election Commission of Central Mamuju Regency in West Sulawesi Province.
The General Election Commission of Central Mamuju Regency in West Sulawesi Province burned thousands of ballot papers in the backyard of the General Election Office of Central Mamuju. This event was witnessed by the General Election Supervisory Agency, the police and military personnel. The disposal of the ballot papers was unnecessary due to their torn, punctured, and ink splatter condition. Additionally, there were excess ballot papers after packing process. The chief of the General Election of Central Mamuju, Alamsyah, stated that a total of 7,677 ballot papers were destroyed, including those for presidential election, vice president, Regional Representative Council, the House Representative of the Republic of Indonesia, Provincial Parliament, and District Parliament. Alamsyah mentioned that the matched ballot papers were affected by ink splatters during the printing process. Samsul Bahri Muhtar reported.
Sulbar News will be back after the break.
Dari Pulau Karampuang, Sulawesi Barat,
TVRI
Media Pemersatu Bangsa.
Wow, gambarnya bersih, suaranya jernih, mantap.
Sandek, sebuah karya anak bangsa yang menjadi kebanggaan dan simbol kearifan masyarakat Sulawesi Barat. Sandek, perahu tercepat senusantara yang sudah ada sejak ratusan tahun lalu.
Saat ini, Sandek mengalami proses kepunahan. Hal itu jangan sampai terjadi sebab di balik Sandek ada ilmu pengetahuan pembuatan perahu dan pelayaran tradisional yang berasal dari warisan nenek moyang kita yang berlangsung ribuan tahun yang lalu.
Tugas kita untuk menjaganya dari kepunahan. Lestarikan Sandek.
Budaya warisan leluhur yang masih terjaga hingga kini, tak lekang di gerus zaman. Ia tak sekedar lekuk sejarah, ia hadir sebagai filosofi hidup orang Mandar di setiap sosoknya. Di dalamnya mengandung budaya, seni, dan mistis bercampur menjadi satu. Mari lestarikan budaya asli Sulawesi Barat.
Thank you to stay with us, and let's take a look at another news. The General Election Commission of Majene Regency has disposed of 1,715 of the 2024 election ballot papers. The destruction of the ballot paper was due to the excess ballots and those considered unusable or damaged. The disposal took place in the yard of Majene General Election Commission. Munawir, the chief of Majene General Election Commission, explained that the destroyed ballot included both usable and unusable categories. The disposal process was witnessed by the police and the General Election Supervisory Agency. He emphasized the importance of ensuring no leftover ballot papers remain the logistic warehouse, whether they are still usable or not. As all ballots have been distributed based on the registered voters list at each polling station, with additional 2% as reserve. The disposed ballot papers include 350 presidential election ballots, 425 the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia ballots, 79 Regional Representative Council ballots, 247 Provincial Parliament ballots, and 614 District Parliament ballots. Munawir expressed hope for a safe and smooth voting process without any issues. He emphasized that 100% of the ballots have arrived at the polling station, ensuring a sufficient stock for voting in all polling stations throughout Majene Regency. Muhammad Rizaldi and Jeman reported. The General Election Commission of Mamuju Regency has disposed 2,000 of damaged ballot papers as they were unusable in the elections. The General Election Commission of Mamuju Regency had disposed of the damaged ballot papers that were considered unusable for the 2024 election. The destruction of thousands of ballot papers took place in the yard of the Mamuju General Election Office, witnessed directly by the Commissioner of the West Sulawesi General Election, the General Election Supervisory Agency of Mamuju Regency, police and military personnel. The disposal of thousands of ballot paper was committed to avoid the use of damaged ballot papers for the upcoming election. The destroyed ballot papers were torn and several names of the legislative candidates on the ballot papers were affected by leaks, making them unfit for use. The chairman of the General Election of Mamuju, Indo UP, stated that a total of 4,606 ballot papers was destroyed, consisting 265 presidential election ballot papers, 992 Regional Representatives Council ballot papers, 568 the House of Representatives of the Republic Indonesia ballot papers, 30 Provincial Parliament ballot papers, and 591 District Parliament ballot papers. The chairman of the Mamuju General Election Supervisory Agency, Rusdin, mentioned that the number of ballot papers disposed of by the Mamuju General Election Commission is in accordance with the finding of the Mamuju General Election Supervisory Agency. The destruction damaged ballot paper was carried out by burning them. In the UP, that the disposal of ballot papers will not affect the quantity of ballot papers at each polling stations. Irham Bali Mensur reported. Members of the voting organizing groups or KPPS in Ratte Village, Tutar District, Polewali Mandar Regency are facing hardship on the muddy mountain road condition to organize the 2024 election. The member of the voting organizing groups or KPPS in Ratte Village struggled to the transfer election logistic by passing through muddy roads in a quiet remote mountains area, even isolated. It took 5 to 7 hours to reach this remote area, and only certain vehicles could pass through because of the uphill and downhill terrain. The General Election Commissioner of Polewali Mandar, Heri Danursham, stated that the ballot boxes were distributed early to the remote area to ensure that the vote on February 14 can be held simultaneously. The distribution of the ballot box logistic for the 2014 election is strictly guarded by the police. The General Election Commissioner hopes that simultaneously election can be implemented safely throughout the Polewali Mandar area. Chalal Kalaki reported. Sulbar News will be back after the break.
Kegigihan masyarakat Mandar dalam bertenun sudah dimulai sejak ratusan tahun lalu, berlangsung secara turun-temurun. Perangkat tenun yang digunakan baik kayu pemintal, pewarnaan benang, dan pemeliharaan ulat sutra semua diambil dari tanah leluhur yang ada di sekitarnya. Lestarikan tenun sebagai budaya milik bangsa.
Mari kita lestarikan tenun Mandar, warisan budaya leluhur kita.
Alam dan manusia adalah kesatuan. Terikat kuat layaknya jalinan benang yang membentuk kayu. Sekomandi, pencerminan betapa erat dan kuatnya ikatan masyarakat Kalumpang dengan alamnya. Marilah menjaga warisan leluhur kita sebagai identitas diri. Sekomandi, warisan budaya masyarakat Sulawesi Barat.
Dari Pulau Karampuang, Sulawesi Barat,
TVRI,
media pemersatu bangsa.
Thank you to stay with Sulbar News. The West Sulawesi representative of Bank Indonesia has allocated funds amounting to 125 billion for the upcoming 2024 general election, as conveyed during a casual chat with the media.
The money supply of Bank Indonesia's West Sulawesi representative has increased by 56% this year compared to last year, with funds allocated to the upcoming 2024 election. This information was shared during a casual chat with the media at one of the cafes in Mamuju. The cash had been allocated 30 days before the Februari 14, 2024 election. Meanwhile, 2 weeks before the election, Bank Indonesia's West Sulawesi representative has distributed cash supply to Pulau Mandar's cash deposit. The head of the West Sulawesi representative of Bank Indonesia, Gunawan Purnomo, said the cash distribution ahead of the election was carried out to maintain cash availability. The increase in cash distribution is due to several factors, such as the campaign needs of political parties or legislative candidates' election. Apart from money supply, the West Sulawesi representative of Bank Indonesia has prepared a mutilated money changer mobile POS and verified the legitimacy of the money. This service started 10 days before the election and will continue for 10 days after the election. Andriani Lahamuddin Muhammad Adam reported.
The General Election Commissions or KPU and the General Election Supervisory Bawaslu of Mamuju Regency conducted monitoring at several polling stations to ensure the voting process and the vote counting successfully held.
Organizing groups at several polling stations were still counting ballot papers for 5 types of ballots in the 2024 elections as of this morning. The Police Commissioner of Mamuju, Iskandar, monitored several polling stations in Mamuju to ensure the vote counting was successfully held without any obstacles. The police chief reported, based on reports from several officers, that the implementation of the election was successfully held in Mamuju Regency, and no major problems occurred during the voting process. The entire series of 2024 elections activities were successfully implemented as expected in Mamuju Regency due to the political awareness of the community. Irham Hambali Mansur Muhammad Adam reported.
A resident questioned by the General Election Supervisory Agency or Bawaslu. The General Election Commission. A resident questioned by the General Election Supervisory Agency of Majene regarding alleged against money politics. The Center of the Integrated Law Enforcement agreed to continue the case process related to the election violation.
The General Election Supervisory Agency handled case of money politics. When entering a quiet period of the 2024 election, this case began when the General Election Supervisory of Majene received an information from residents and immediately followed up. The chief of the General Election Supervisory of Majene, Sofian Ali, conveyed that the residents were found receiving money that would be given to the community. Based on the information from the General Supervisory of Majene, a number of evidences were found, including envelope of approximately 30 seats with each containing 350,000 rupiah in cash, along with a list of recipients and ballot paper specimen. From one of the legislative candidates of District Parliament in Majene, he added that the Integrated Law Enforcement agreed to continue the case process related to election violation. The General Election of Majene hasn't provided more detailed information regarding the alleged money politic case. The investigation of residents will be continued by the Integrated Law Enforcement. Due to the incident, the residents are urged not to do money politics, especially during the quiet period. Muhammad Rizaldi Andi Jemang reported.
The General Election Commission and the General Election Supervisory of Mamuju Regency conducted monitoring at several polling stations to ensure the voting process and voting counting successfully.
The General Election, along with the General Election Supervisory, continued to monitor the location of polling stations in Mamuju City throughout the voting process and voting counting to ensure all the process had successfully implemented. The General Election Commissioner of Mamuju Regency, Ibnu Imad Totori, stated, "From the monitoring results, the whole process was still running well after counting process was completed. All the results will be collected in the sub-district for further recounting. The counting process will continue to the district according to the specified schedule February 17 to March 5, 2024. On the occasion, Imad hopes that the entire election process could be successfully held and without obstacles in order that it can give the best results for the community. From the result of the monitoring team, the entire voting process at the polling station in Mamuju City went well, while the process of counting ballot papers at the several polling stations in Mamuju City was still carried out up to this morning. Judistira reported.
Claiming to be the legal identity owner of C6 form, a woman protested to the voting organization group or KPPS at polling station or TPS 29 Simboro Mamuju Regency. The General Election Supervisory Agency or Bawaslu conveyed that they would be follow up with the General Election Commission before deciding whether to revote or not.
A resident in Simboro, Arifa protested to the voting organization as she couldn't distribute her voting right. This was done after finding out her identity on the C6 form had been used by others to vote at the polling station where she voted. Arifa expressed her disappointment after finding out the C6 form on her name had been used by others with the same name and identity number as hers. She stated that she didn't get the C6 form in the first place up to the time of voting. She went to the polling station to distribute her voting right, yet when she arrived at the polling station 29, according to the information she got through the General Election website, it turned out her voting right had been used by others. The head of General Election Supervisory of Mamuju Regency, Wawan Sulfianto, stated that he would follow up the incident. Currently, his college was collecting the evidence before deciding the decision. Meanwhile, the entire voting process and ballot papers counting at the polling station 29 Simboro, Mamuju Regency continued to be held until it was completed. While the problems that occurred at the polling station didn't hinder the entire process carried out at the polling station. Judistira reported.
Here is the following weather forecast for tomorrow at the 6 regions in West Sulawesi. That's what's up today edition news. I'm Muhammad Rifai Sahida with all the crew. Say thank you and bye for now.